Hey there. So is social media dying? What the heck am I talking about? I had some warning signals this week and I wanted to share what I learned just so you're prepared for however things play out. So let's jump in.
Welcome to the Course Creators HQ podcast, helping you navigate the latest techniques for creating and marketing online courses. And now, here is your host, Julie Hood.
Hey, so glad you're here. Welcome to episode 158 of the Course Creators HQ podcast. And before I dig in on these warning signals that I had this week, I wanted to tell you about what's coming up for the fall, because I know a bunch of you are planners and you like to schedule things out and be ready. So here's some of the things we've got cooking. September 5th, we are starting up with the Effortless Email program again. It's going to have two different options so you can get your email newsletter and freebie and landing page set up with my cool template. And it's going to have two options. So you can either have us help you or you can kind of do the DIY with coaching version. So keep your eye out for that. Then the week of October the 2nd is going to be the Topic and Title Challenge. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. We haven't done it for a while, and you get free coaching for a week with me to figure out what your topic and your title should be for your next course. So make sure you set aside some time that week, October the 2nd, and then October the 11th is when we're going to start the big 24-hour Course Creator daily coaching program again. So you get to work with me for 5 weeks on your course, and then we spend a few more months together getting your foundation all in place. So mark those dates on your calendars. No links yet. We're still in the process of getting everything set up, but I wanted to make sure as you're doing your planning for the fall, leave those dates open so that you're able to come in and join us. Okay, so these warning signs that I saw this week. So I had 3 different people come to me and say they either are going to stop posting on social or they saw something that made them think that there was going to be some issues with social media and the way it's helping people. And then I've also kind of had some inklings in the back of my own mind about where things are headed. And I'll give you a few more details, and then I'm going to tell you what to do about this. So first thing is, I've been so disappointed in my dear, lovely Clubhouse. They've made changes back basically at the beginning of 2023, and it just hasn't helped, and it hasn't been a good experience. So I don't know where Clubhouse is heading. And then we had the whole Threads kickoff, which I still love Threads, but it launched like a rocket, and then people kind of stopped going there. Plus all the changes with Twitter. And so I'm just seeing this pullback from people in that they're just resistant and they're exhausted from social media. So the next thing I want to tell you, though, if you're getting good results, if what you're doing is working, if you're finding your students, then ignore me. It's very dangerous, I think, sometimes to make kind of blanket statements about what things are doing, because every course is different, every course creator is different, every audience is slightly different. So this may not apply to you, but if you're thinking it might, here's where I'm coming from. There's some of the indicators that I've seen. My own social media has seen a drop over the past year in engagement. And even though I got to say right now, the place where I'm having the most fun is actually on Threads, because I felt like I'm having more conversations over there. But I don't know where that's going to go either. They are launching the web version, so you don't have to use it on your phone. The web version is launching this week, so we'll see. That may invigorate some users to revisit and keep coming. So all of it is very uncertain at the moment. And I think part of what has happened is initially, there was this great organic reach on social media. You could find your people and you could get in front of them and you could connect with them. And you didn't have to work as hard as you do now. You had to work at it, but not the way it is now. The organic reach has tanked for a lot of people. And then I think there's also been this toxicity on some of the platforms that is spreading and people are trying to get away from. It's also some of the stuff can be super time consuming and might be giving some folks burnout on the creation side of things. And then I've noticed just getting people to take action besides just mindless scrolling is getting tougher and tougher. So hopefully there's some light in the tunnel, though, because I want to give you a few things that you can do so that if you're noticing these things, you can follow up. If you're not, ignore me. But if you've noticed some of these things, here are my suggestions for you. The first one is I want you to double down on what's working. So the things that you are seeing getting you impact, getting you in front of people, getting you engagement, keep doing those. The second thing is I want you to really focus on building your email list from your social media accounts. So make sure you're posting your freebies, you're posting ways for people to jump in, because then you're taking them from these accounts that you don't really have control over and you're getting them over to your own assets with your email list. And then I'm also a huge, huge fan of automatic posting. And I've talked about this before. I have a lot of my social media set up to automatically post, so it's not so time consuming and it's not so frustrating for me. So I'll link to the episode. It was episode 73 where I talked about the social media tools that I was using and how I'm using those. So I'll put that link in the show notes if you want to go listen to that episode and kind of get an idea for how you could also do some auto posting. My next thought for you is to really go all in on one platform and then maybe move the others to more of an auto posting kind of connection, to where if somebody comes across you on one of the other platforms, you still look active, but you have one platform where you're visiting regularly, you're commenting, you're engaging, you're really using it to its full capacity, and see if that makes a difference. Give it a test for 60 or 90 days and see, are you seeing better results? Find the one where you've got the most students and where you're most likely to find your best people, and then go all in. Next idea is to do more content that lasts and lasts. And I've talked about this several times. This is that whole long-term versus short-term concept of the content that you're creating. You know, is it a tweet that's going to last maybe 12, 24 hours? Or are you going to put together a YouTube video that's going to send you traffic for years and years and years and years? So there are a couple different places that you can focus on for more of the long-term content. Obviously, YouTube is one of them. Pinterest actually is another really good one for long-term content, and it actually acts more like a search engine than it does a social media tool. So I talked about this in episode 120 with Jana O. So I'll link to that episode too, in case you want to explore some possibilities of using Pinterest. And then blogging, there's some new places where you can do blogging and get a little bit more reach, places like medium.com. So that's also an option if you're a writer. So think about that long-term content and how you can be investing time there. The next thing is try to do as much repurposing as you possibly can, because you really want to give your creative brain a break if it's feeling burnt out on content and having to create content. So we do every Wednesday, as of right now, we'll see if we continue, but as of right now, we do a repurposing room on Clubhouse where you can hear what different people are repurposing and get some ideas and some inspiration. In fact, one of our rooms last week, we pulled out 99 different ways to repurpose the content. So it was quite the room. So do that. Like, you've already created it once. Let's reuse it over and over and recycle it so that you don't have to keep creating things from scratch. The next thing is, I want you to play where it's really fun for you. Like I mentioned how much I'm enjoying Threads way more than I enjoy a lot of the other social media websites. And that's just where I'm getting fulfilled. I like the connections, but figure out what's the best place that you want to hang out. Where do you enjoy it, as opposed to feeling like you're trudging through and forcing yourself to jump in. And then, find some new places to play. Maybe it's time to really focus on being a guest on podcasts. Or maybe you want to do some things outside of social media. So find some new playgrounds and see where else you could be connecting with your potential students. And the last thing I'll mention is I want you to give yourself permission to switch directions. We have this human tendency of, once we start something, that we have to stick with it. We have to keep doing it. We have to stay focused. And sometimes that can get in the way. Sometimes it's fantastic because it gives you that persistence to help you get to the end goal line. But sometimes when your gut is telling you like, maybe this isn't the best place for me to be spending my time right now, pay attention to those little feelings if you have them, because they might be pointing you in a place that's more focused. And it's okay to say, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I know I tend to struggle with that sometimes because I don't want to give up what I've already got. So depending on your personality, I think sometimes folks have more or less of that feeling of jumping or not jumping. So just pay attention, see, give yourself permission to explore some new things and possibly jump around just a little bit. Okay, so last thing I will tell you about is, if you have not yet grabbed my Find Your Profitable course idea training, make sure you get a hold of it. It helps you walk through your different ideas, evaluate them, and then rank them based on which ones are the best. So I'll put that link, also all kinds of links, so make sure you visit the show notes. I'll put that link in here so that you can grab it. It's free, and it will give you a place to capture and really evaluate some of those ideas for your next course. So good place to get going. And thanks so much for listening. Listen, I really appreciate having space in your earbuds each week. I appreciate you and the time that you spend with me. Plus, if you haven't noticed, I think we're switching to a Wednesday launch day. I have been doing Tuesday for a long, long time, and it just has gotten tougher and tougher to hit that Tuesday deadline. So I think I'm going to switch over to Wednesdays. Just an FYI, if you're wondering, like, where are the Tuesday episodes, that's why. So thanks so much for listening and following and subscribing and connecting and sharing it with your fellow course creators. I really appreciate you, and hope you have an amazing, terrific, wonderful week. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care.